Going, look, this is part of Hillary Clinton's problem, right? It's not that there is this concern that she can't win the nomination. It's concern that she can win the nomination, right? That she's going to be the nominee. So,
and I don't want to lose the White House.
We look at Clinton's numbers, stronger in the primary, and yet, in many ways, I think there is questions about her electability and where she's going to stand in a general election.
And I think Senator Clinton believes that that is her greatest strength in this argument about electability.
But a new CNN ORC poll shows more people view her unfavorably than at any point since 2001.
50% of those polled have an unfavorable view of the candidate.
A growing number say she's not honest and trustworthy.
There's also the ABC poll that found her scores for honesty and trustworthiness among voters are on the decline.
And she's struggling on the all-important empathy factor. The poll finds only 47% say she cares about people like them.
There's more evidence this morning that this is a very competitive race and a winnable race for the Republicans. In Colorado, in Iowa, and in Virginia, three of the most important states in presidential politics if they're close. These are three of the big swing states. Look at Hillary Clinton's unfavorable ratings. Favorable 35 in Colorado, 33 in Iowa, 41. But look at the right-hand column. Hillary Clinton, a majority in each of those very important states, say she's unfavorable. In fact,
Dick, you said yesterday that she, you were quoted saying that she would die the death of 1,000 cuts.
if you're the Republicans, you're saying, wow, this is good. The battlefield at the moment is good for us.
I think it's a deeper fundamental flaw.
And to go what you're saying, look, Obama's president of the United States because they exploited Hillary Clinton's trust issues back in 2007 and 2008. Let's not forget that.
Absolutely, and when you drill down just a little bit in that poll, it's the trust issue again. And it's the, does this candidate care about me and my issues? And with Hillary Clinton, in a lot of these states, they're saying no right now, and that's a huge problem for her campaign.
Raise your hand if you think that could hurt Hillary Clinton's chances of getting elected. What does she need to do to satisfy you that she gets those problems and fixes them?
You know, I'm not sure, having known her for 30 years, that they are fixable. And I don't want to lose the White House. I had lunch with a woman today that said, it's time we had a woman, and, you know, you shouldn't be attacking Hillary. And she made it very clear that she thought I ought to back off. And she's entitled to her opinion, and I'm entitled to mine. I mean, if you're wed to the idea that we ought to have the first woman, there's Kristen Gillibrand, there's Amy Klobuchar, there's Elizabeth Warren, and plenty of more.
You've known both Clintons, as you said, for a long time. Just describe to people your sense of where Hillary Clinton's head is at now at this point in her career.
Her head is, it's her turn. That's the major rationale in her head. I've paid my dues. I put up with a lot of crap. I put up with Bill. It's my turn. This entitlement, this anointment, this coronation is not good for the party.
Well, you know, the coverage of Bernie Sanders is interesting because it almost always, right up in the lead, right up at the top, it mentions that he's a socialist who aligns himself with the Democrats in the caucus in the United States Senate. If you go to a Bernie Sanders rally, he's not speaking to socialists. He's speaking to American citizens. They are nodding their heads, and they are buying 99% of what Bernie Sanders is saying. He has enormous crowds. He has enormous support. The demographic skews very young, which is really what you're looking for to get people actively involved in politics.
What's most interesting to me is Bernie Sanders shows more strength against Donald Trump than Hillary Clinton.
Sanders beat Trump. Even Bernie Sanders beats Donald Trump.
Bernie Sanders beats Donald Trump by double digits, 51 to 38, 13 points.
In a general election, he has put together coalitions that look exactly like this. But clearly, you know, he does have Democratic support and support amongst independents and even amongst Republicans.
This would make him a stronger general election candidate, which could get him more traction potentially in the conversation against Hillary Clinton in the still unresolved Democratic nomination.
Is don't underestimate the electability, the winnability factor for Sanders.
Bernie Sanders is a hot commodity right now. Not just, I think, among Democrats, but independents.
Because the message, the populist Vermont message, has millions of followers around the country.
Bernie Sanders is out there expanding the electorate, bringing more people into the party. And you know what? That's the same path that Barack Obama used to win the nomination.
The electorate. That is playing the game of addition, not subtraction.
Howard, why are you chuckling?
Because I've seen this for 40 years.
What?
People underestimate him.
That's right.
He has an incredibly powerful message. And he actually, I remember my last election after I'd done civil unions, I got clobbered in a certain part of the state that always votes
conservative, and Bernie Sanders got every vote that my very conservative opponent got. He is a tremendous appeal to ordinary working people who feel like they're getting screwed. And he got all the same votes that my very conservative opponent got. Because of this coalition.
It's a sign of not just as Governor Dean says, his personality and his following, but of people in the Democratic Party wanting that message.
It's always anecdotal.
There are also a lot of actually people in the Republican Party who want that message.
Trump.
If you ran Bernie Sanders, it would be much tougher.
Bernie Sanders?
It would be much tougher to beat him.
You think would be a better candidate than Hillary?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
because he would
cares
excite
about
the base.
American middle class, working class. Hillary doesn't. She's like the elected Republican. She cares about the Chamber of Commerce.
As voters in Iowa and New Hampshire have begun to believe that he could beat her, that he could be the nominee, they're more drawn towards him.
Would he be a good president?
I think he would be. The foreign policy part of it is not his strength, but I think he could handle that.
The media will play a big role. Will they give him the space, and not just as a foil to Hillary Clinton? Will they keep saying he's unelectable? Or will they give him and his issues the space? Because too often, as you well know, campaigns in this country are covered as a horse race. And the issues which Bernie Sanders wants to talk about desperately, running a serious campaign, talking about serious solutions, can that be heard in our system? Because to me, the measure of democracy is whether our elections become debates, vibrant debates, and whether campaigns lift up new ideas that people want to hear.